All right, what's up, IED? Mr. Catlin here with your video to try to help you out with making the drawing for your multi-view of your CO2 car. At this point, you should have your assembly finished. You've got your cavity in the back. You've got your eye hole sockets here for the fishing line and all your wheels attached to your custom-made body here. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to make a drawing that looks something like this. So you can kind of test your dimensions to see if all your constraints are correct. And when you take this to E-Day, you're going to have these drawings with you as part of your rubric and your grade and how they score your car. So I want to walk you through that process. Hopefully it won't take too long. The first thing that you want to do is you want to have everything assembled, obviously, and you want to come down here to this tab, and we want to create a drawing. All right, and we're going to work on making a custom template later on in the year, but right now we're just going to make everything blank. So no borders, no title block, and no views. We're just going to have kind of a blank sheet here that we're looking at, and we're going to roll into it with a clean canvas, so to speak. All right, so before we start selecting things to insert, let's make sure that we get our scale. I'm going to start off 1:1, and then we also want to look at the sheet size here in a second, and the view that we're going to insert here in just a moment. But I don't want to pick my part yet, although we do want to bring in the assembly, so we can pick that. So we'll be inserting the assembly here in a second, but I want to get my sheet the right size first. So what I want to do is I want to click on this tab here, and we can close that box out. Right click on sheet 1, and let's look at our properties. Our scale, like we said, we want to be 1:1. Size, we're going to make this a custom size, so it'll fit on there. And a size that I find that works pretty good is if we make it, because remember, this is the actual size of your car. So we're going to make this 2 foot wide on the sheet of paper, and we're going to make it, let's go with 18 inches in height. All right. And what that's going to do is that's going to make you a pretty large sheet of paper. All right. So we can fit a lot of stuff on here. If it's 1:1, it's what the car is actually going to look like. So we need a large sheet of paper. All right. So you got all that on there. And then we want to start inserting stuff. All right. So hit the insert button. We do not want to insert individual parts. We want to insert the entire assembly so we can see how the wheels interact with the axle, the body, all that stuff. So we're going to click there. We've got our assembly. I think you should start with your view that shows the cavity of the back of your car, because a lot of times that's not the right side. Although for some of you it might be the right side, depends on how you set it up in Onshape. For me, I think it's the left side. So let me pull that up and see. Yeah, so you can see I've got the cavity hole there in the back. I'm going to kind of start there as my first view, and then I'll pan this out to the others. So that's, I guess, technically where we'll go in my right view location, which I'll put kind of right here. And then we can project that view over to get our front view, like we've always done in the past. And then we can also project that up to get our top view, right? And then click on your base again there, and then come up, and you should be able to get your ISO up in the corner, right? So we've got all of our views. We can see our isometric, and we have everything that we need. So I want to show you how we can add a table to have all of your title blocks and all your information that I would like you to have in there. And then we should be able to get to, let me move these over just a little bit so we'll have more space for our title block. And then you should be able to get to dimensioning, right? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the dimensioning because you should know what you need to show from your constraints. And I'll kind of give you a final drawing. I don't want to spend an entire video dimensioning the picture. So we're going to make a table. We're going to make it be 3 rows and 4 columns, all right, with a title row, all right. And you're going to see it's going to click right here. So I'm going to put that down here in the bottom, hit check, and then we can exit out of this for now. We're not going to edit it. We're just going to kind of build it to size. So I'm going to move this down to the corner, and then stretch this out to about where my drawing is, and up to about where my drawing is, which actually I think you will have to bring it up first and then drag it down. So we'll go about here and then we'll drag it down to size. There we go. And so there's a title block, and you'll see here in a second in my final drawing what I want you to put in those blocks. I'm not going to go through that right now, but you can double click in each block and type and change fonts and do all that fun stuff later. Okay, so that's for your information about scale, mass, material, all that kind of fun stuff. Get your isometric, get your right, get your front, you get your top, and then you're essentially going to go through this thing and you're going to dimension things, right? So you guys know how the dimension tool works. It's the same as the others. You'll need to show, like, what's the width of your tires. Now, something that it's going to do more than likely is it's going to be in inches. And so what we want to do is we want to change this where all of your measurements are in metric. Okay, so there's a quick thing that we can do to change that, because we don't want 1.575. We want that to be 40 millimeters or whatever the diameter of your tire is. So if you click on this little wrench right over here in drawing properties, you should be able to convert your inches to millimeters, and that will automatically change in your drawing if you already started dimensioning and you need to change that. Okay, so you can re-click on that and it will go away. But that's how you can change these to millimeters, and we'll probably actually put that like a little note here that all of the things that are measured are in millimeters. So we could kind of make a note like right here in this space, and we could say, all measurements are metric, something like that. And then you can make that longer, make it bigger, font and all that kind of stuff by dragging that out, right? Clicking on everything, making it maybe a little bit larger. You can change the type of font, the size of the font, stuff like that. So you can make this maybe 5 points, or play around with it, bold it if you want to. All measurements are metric, just so they know looking at this, everything is in millimeters. So add a little note on there like that, and then the rest of your drawing, you'll have the name of your project with your group, who designed it, your name's here, the date of E-Day, the scale is 1:1, material PLA, mass, how many grams that it ends up weighing when we measure it, and then the school that you represent. So those are the things that I want you guys to have on there. And then, of course, like I just showed you, the measurements in metric. Okay, but you're going to have a lot of the dimensions that show off how far things are away. This is a good opportunity for you to change some things on your sketches if you're not meeting some of the constraints that are given in E-Day's specifications. Okay, so a great way to see, hey, are my tires far enough apart? Is this tall enough? Is the cavity deep enough? And all that kind of stuff. All right, and that's how you're going to make that drawing. And that drawing can be exported. I'm working on getting one of our large printers working where we can actually print this out like as a blueprint style, where it's longer and not just like on a sheet of paper. So you can roll a blueprint up into E-Day and have something to show off that it looks a little bit more professional. Okay, but this is definitely something that you could share. You could export. You can come down here and export it as a PDF file. We can print it in that form, and we'll have a nice sheet to show off your multi-view drawing of your CO2 car. All right. And so don't forget to get all your dimensions that are important. I have a lot of them that are listed here. I think that I've covered most things. I think on the back, I don't have all the dimensions that you would want, because you'd want the cavity hole, its depth, right? You probably want to show the diameter of this. Like anything that's a constraint that they want to know if it's correct, you probably need to dimension it, right? And do it. Don't over dimension and show me like 5 different of the same, but if it's something they need to know how long it is or how wide it is, show that off and do it in an organized, neat fashion. And have your title block down here with all of the people that represented in the project. All right. And that's all I have for this video to help you set up the drawing. If you guys get stuck on something, obviously I'll be able to help you in class, but hopefully this video can get you started and on track to get that finished. Later.